When you first start working with a school, you want them to focus on specific needs that they have, because every district is different. So the first thing we do is go in and we work with leadership. And leadership involves the principals, central office staff, the coaches at the building. Everyone has to come together and begin to develop the vision for that district. And so we come in and we offer them that framework for how to analyze their district. What are the components that a district must look at to improve? And what is their biggest need? And that happens through dialogue with amongst the district people, because they are the ones who know themselves the best. So the first thing we do is help support the leadership in terms of understanding how they need to view their district and make decisions about where they need to put their emphasis. That's a 2-day piece that we do up front with them. Then the consultant takes over in that district, and the great thing about the consultant is whomever is assigned to that district is usually there for 3 years. And so they come in and they do the professional development, they come in and they do the coaching and consulting. Now when I do that in the district where I work, I've been in that district now for 5 years. I feel like I own their scores as much as they do, because you really build that kind of bond with the district. And you feel like your reputation's on the line if they don't improve. And so you're doing everything you can to help them sit back and analyze their goals, think about where they want to be. If we're not getting there, what might possibly be the problem as to why we're not getting there. We take a look at the resources that we have at hand and how might we need to reallocate those resources. The on-site support that we provide to a school and to the district is the strongest piece is, of course, the consultant, who is there over a 3-year period of time, so multiple times each year, doing the professional development. And so they're working with teachers and the leadership teams on those professional development days. Then the other strong piece on site is the coaching and consulting. Because as a principal, former principal, I know how important it is to have somebody walk the building with me. The other strong on-site support that we offer to districts is when the consultant actually walks the building with the leadership team. The consultant meets with the leadership team several times during the year. They then on that day, go out and visit classrooms, have conversations with teachers, do model lessons for classroom teachers. And by being on site, you get to have those real conversations. And you get to see what's actually happening in the room. And teachers can stop you and say, wait a minute. You remember when we talked about this or that on our last professional development day? Well, here's what I tried, and now help me think of another way to try it. So actually being there and being available to them allows you to have conversations that you can't have just through email. Now, it's not on site, but the other strong support piece that we offer, though, is we don't want our schools to ever get stuck or feel like they do not have access to us. So there's unlimited phone and email. And so we spend a lot of time in between our actual on-site visits having conversations, problem solving, figuring out what we might need to even do the next time that we are in the district. So that's another support piece. When we begin to work with a district, the first thing I ask them is, tell me about your instructional goals. What are some of the trainings that you have had people attend? What do you believe as a district is important for your teachers to do in the classroom to accelerate student achievement? So I need to hear what their thinking is and what the background is, and so we can begin to build from there. Because we have to take a look at what the research says in terms of what are the most effective instructional strategies. So if we already are doing a lot of them, it's great. We can build from there, figure out where the holes are, and how to move things forward. I also, of course, need to know how are we doing in terms of student achievement. Where are you in relationship to AYP? Have you made AYP? Have the subgroups, has that achievement gap narrowed? So what have you identified as a school as to your achievement goals and what you want to accomplish? And I like to really help schools reach the top because I know it can happen. So we take a look at what's there, and then we start figuring out what must we do to put that achievement goal out there in a realistic way so that everybody in the building claims ownership to it. And everybody in the building sees it as part of their responsibility to meet that goal. So you have to build that goal with by consensus so that everybody buys in and says, yeah, I want to be a part of the team that's going to accomplish this. Then how are we going to get the job done? That's through those instructional strategies and what we are doing that is most effective. And how do we share that knowledge? If I do something that has worked well, how can I invite someone in to see that? Or if I hear about how well you're doing, how am I going to get down there to see what it is you're doing so that I can do as well with my students? So you have to really be in partnership with the district to establish those goals, because the truth is you can make sometimes 10 to 15 percentage point growth in a year, but you have to be really, really focused to do that. And I like to help schools do that. The mission for Literacy First is to accelerate student achievement in reading in subject areas across the board. As you look at schools and you see how many schools that we have that are failing, it does not have to be that way. I was a principal of a very poor school, 90% free and reduced lunch. With the help of Literacy First, my kids went right to the top. So I know it can happen. And so when it's not happening, I think that that is wrong, and that we have a responsibility as a society to help kids be the very best they can be. So our mission is to increase student achievement. The vision for Literacy First is that within 3 years, we would help a school attain a level of 85 to 90% of their students being on grade level in reading or being proficient and above in other subject areas. We set the bar high because we believe it's possible. So 85 to 90% of your kids reading on grade level within 3 years, or achieving at that very high, proficient, and accelerated on your state tests. In order to achieve an 85 to 90% achievement rate, it takes some very specific strategies being employed. Now, the research is there that tells us what's most effective, and we haven't always used it or known how to use it. Through Literacy First, we have broken down those strategies into what are the steps for how to really do it. So we are going to model it for you in training days. We're going to break it down into the little tiny steps to help you figure out exactly how to do it in your classroom. We're going to come in and model it for you in your classroom, but those research-based instructional strategies have to be used, or you will not get the type of acceleration that you want.